Welcome to episode 10. That's a tap with CTDJ. How we doing?
We're good. How are you, CT? It's been a minute.
Yeah.
We haven't done one of this, obviously, because the two events are too far apart. There have been some good boxing events in between, which we might just dip our toes into a bit.
Yep.
But we're here to talk about UFC 274.
Yep.
What do you think? What are your thoughts? Are you hyped for this card?
Super hyped as well. I just bring up the new bout order, updated bout order. But DJ, this is probably we're in May.
Yeah.
And this is probably, if not the top or the second best card of the year.
Yeah, so far.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Look, I agree. I think it's a really good card, really strong card. A lot of fan-friendly fights in there. But I think whenever that lightweight title is being contended, right, it's always that sort of excitement in the air. We got Charles Oliveira taking on Justin Gaichi. Very exciting matchup. Charles Oliveira has been on a tear the past few in his most recent fights. And then we obviously got Justin Gaichi coming off that massive fight against Michael Chandler at Madison Square Garden. And then you got the likes of Tony Ferguson fighting in this card. And that alone boosts the quality of the card. And then we got the women's strawweight title, a much anticipated rematch between Royce Namajunas and Carlos Esparza. And obviously Royce trying to get that win back. Royce is obviously in a very different place now, considered one of the best female fighters, considered one of the best fighters, to be honest. So quite exciting. And then the preliminary card itself is quite good as well. Got some bangers in there. As you can see, Chaos Williams is fighting. Every time he's there, there's always excitement.
Yeah.
There's Andre Fialo, who's in there. Brandon Royval's in there. So some exciting matchups. So yeah, overall a very, very exciting card.
Yep. No, indeed. And also, obviously, this is the pay-per-view before going off to Singapore as well. So locally, obviously they're still wanting to keep a lot of them in the US.
Yeah.
The location of this one is
the Footprint Center.
Yeah.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah. So they're traveling, which is good. Obviously now I don't think it matters to say that there's going to be crowds attending because it's become a norm now. Everyone's there. And hopefully the fight nights we'll start seeing them more as well, because we got UFC London, where they're back in July.
Yes.
They're going back there,
Yes.
So it's going to be an exciting fight night again. They'll try to recreate the magic they did not too long ago. But look, let's talk 274. So we got headlined by Justin Gaichi, Charles Oliveira. Right, Let's go straight into it. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Crazy matchup. Crazy. Two guys that are just willing to lay it all out there, on the line for that division.
Yeah.
And it's been a minute for Gaichi. I'm really excited to see how he comes back.
Yeah.
Do you agree it's been a bit of a layoff?
Yeah, look, to be honest, like someone like Gaichi, who's a fan-friendly fighter, you'd like to see him a little bit more active, but I think part of it was because he was waiting for that title shot. He's been asking for that title shot. He wanted it straight after. Instead of Michael Chandler, he wanted the title shot when Khabib vacated the title, but he just lost to Khabib, so it doesn't make sense, I think. It didn't make sense at the time, but it was inevitable. So he took one more fight in between, which was the Chandler fight at MSG. That was a legendary fight. It was as advertised, a back-and-forth banger. Obviously, Gaichi came out victorious and set the title shot up. But I think since he fought, we had Oliveira fighting Dustin Poirier, who at the time people were considering the uncrowned champ, and it was a matter of time before Dustin Poirier took the title off Oliveira. But that wasn't the case. We saw Dustin Poirier lose via submission, and again, Oliveira cementing his spot as that undisputed champion, and not just that, but also an amazing fighter. And he's on this crazy win streak, I think reaching up to almost 15, right? And he's beaten anyone they've put in front of him. He knocked out Chandler, which is no easy feat. He choked out Dustin Poirier in definitive fashion. right? And now he's going against Gaichi. So if he's able to pull the win off here, we're looking at now starting to have that conversation. Who really is the lightweight GOAT or greatest of all time? Because obviously, Khabib's name's always there, but Charles Oliveira's definitely getting there, right?
Yeah, absolutely exciting for the UFC, given that this is always been one of their strongest divisions.
Yeah.
And we got the Irishman who's lurking. We're never going to forget about him. We won't talk about him right now, but just an example. Obviously, it's their money division.
It is,
for being honest,
and it is a deep division. You go up to top 15, they're all good guys who can beat anyone any given day. So, which is why it's exciting. We also got the other name, which is Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
Again, Khabib's TJ. Everyone is saying he's going to be that next champ. But we never know because Oliveira's got good ground game. But right now, the fight to worry about is Gaichi Oliveira, and I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I feel like it's going to be. I don't think it'll be a quick fight. I think it'll be a little bit more of a Lawler fight. I think Oliveira is going to be smart. He's very sharp with his attacks, especially in the striking department. We know how good he is he's on the ground. I think Gaichi will try and trade shots. I think obviously he understands his strength lies in the stand-up game.
Yeah,
and obviously he has that power. Obviously he holds more power than Charles Oliveira. But Oliveira is just well-rounded, right? And he's proven that in the past few fights. And one of the questions that I've always been asked about Oliveira is that can he withstand adversity? Can he come back from being knocked down, being down and out? And he proved that in the Chandler fight, and he proved that in the Poirier fight, where he lost both the first rounds in those fights, then to come back and finish it strongly. So I think Oliveira is an amazing fighter. Look, if anything, I'm predicting Oliveira to beat Gaichi.
Okay.
What about you?
Yep. Firstly, I was going to ask you who wins and by what method and when.
Well,
since we're going to predict, just give us your entire prediction.
Well, there you go. So I'd say Oliveira by submission.
Okay.
I would say maybe round 3 or round 4.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yep. No, I can't really disagree.
Yeah.
Part of me is like leaning towards Oliveira as well because of Gaichi's layoff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, wouldn't be surprised if I saw Gaichi just come out.
Yeah,
just like a man that's been sort of caged up.
Yeah.
Like just ready to unleash as well. And he's always a chance to clip someone with how hard he strikes. But like you said, the technicality of Oliveira and how sound he is.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be. He's going to prove on the occasion with crowds and everything. Yeah. That's another mental game, who can be the more focused. I think.
Yeah.
And I'm just giving you that slight edge to Oliveira as well, like you. And I could see it by decision, actually.
Oh, okay.
By 5 rounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think Gaichi's a warrior and he takes hits and he's willing to keep coming.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of punishment in this one.
Yeah.
But I think it might go 5.
Yeah. I think it'll all come down to can Oliveira take Gaichi's shots, right, and still remain standing, and can Oliveira take the fight down to the ground? I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I think whoever goes and implements their game plan effectively, obviously is going to come out victorious, But let's not also forget that the mastermind behind Gaichi in his camp, which is Trevor Whitman, his coach, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the best coaches around. Obviously, understands opponents and breaks them down in studies. So I think they've done a lot of research. I mean, I'm always excited to see any of Trevor Whitman's students fight. It's only 3, I think. There's Usman, Gaichi, and Rose, and 2 of them are fighting here. So you never know. Look, it is, it doesn't it? But I'm going to go with Oliveira, and I'm going to go with submission.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. No. Yeah. Definitely. That's good. And also, it's going to be. We could probably chalk it up to being fight of the night.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I could see them winning fight of the night.
You could. You definitely. And then we move on to the co-main, which is like the much anticipated rematch between Rose Namajunas and Carla Esparza. What do you think of that fight?
Oh, another banger. Thug Rose, obviously, the crowd's going to be behind her. I think.
Yeah.
Carla Esparza is a tough cookie.
Yeah.
You could just sort of see her size with her head. She can move forward.
Yeah.
She can take hits.
Yeah.
As well. I think Rose is probably a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
In terms of she normally does well on the outside.
Yeah.
Whereas Carla comes forth.
Yeah.
This is going to be a battle.
Yeah.
This is what, 3 rounds as well?
No, it'll be 5 rounds.
5,
because it's a championship fight, so it'll be 5 rounds. But but I agree though. I think Rose is a seasoned striker. On paper, she's definitely the better mixed martial artist. I think she's arguably one of the best strikers, arguably even one of the best fighters in the UFC. And she's going against Carla Esparza. And what makes this fight exciting is that they've already fought in the Ultimate Fighter finale a while ago. And we had Carla Esparza submitting Rose.
Yeah.
Right. So that was, and even at that time, Rose was fancied over Carla to win the title, but I think the Ultimate Fighter title, that is, and then she obviously pulled that upset. Carla Esparza is relentless. I think her strength is, again, the ground game and the way she sets up takedowns. And once she gets you down, she holds you down, but also she's relentless with those attempts. She'll keep coming in. I think she's proven that in her past few fights, and she's showing that she can do that. And she's beaten some, fan-friendly fighters as well. There's also people who have had title aspirations. So she's put herself in this spot. If she wants that rematch, I think. And look, Rose definitely has had. Rose has obviously grown leaps and bounds since then. You see that the resume speaks for itself. She's beaten pretty much all the elite fighters in the division, and even if she's had a loss, she's gone back and taken it back with Jessica Andrade. So I think she'll look to do the same thing. It really comes down to, I believe Rose is mentally very strong as well. So I think it comes down to how much of that loss is playing in her mind. Given that was one of the first times she was on a bigger stage, and obviously she got submitted. So how much does that play in her mind? And how much can she go in and implement a game plan? I think, either way, it's an exciting fight. But what's your prediction for the fight?
You know what? I'm predicting that Rose will retain.
And still.
And still. A real fan favorite for the UFC. She's just made for it, I think. And we're seeing the further emergence of a star.
Yeah, definitely. I think she's already a star.
Yeah.
I think Rose is known outside the MMA circle.
Yeah.
I think Lil Wayne was trying to make a song.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like just the popularity among casualists and not even fans of other sport. I could see her being picked up by, as she further grows. Yeah. So I could see her picked up for movies.
Yeah.
Like Gina Carano was. I could see her. Like I said, music videos. WWE stuff later.
Yeah. I mean, she's the whole package, right? You got everything. She's a great fighter, which is the most important thing, right? She wins fights. She's the champion. She's also great outside the ring as well. Yeah. She carries herself well. She carries herself as a champion. So I think she's great.
Yeah.
Right?
What about you?
Oh man, and still easiest prediction.
Yeah.
And still, and I'm going to actually go with. This is just because I like Rose as well, so I'm just going to go with round two. Yeah. Round 2 knockout. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Knockout at TKO. Yeah.
Who's next? Like, let's say who's left in the division?
So I'd like to see her fight Marina Rodriguez. I guess she's that next one. I think she's again another emerging contender who's been quite strong. She's obviously lost to Carla, but if Carla were to lose to Rose, I'd like to see her fight Marina Rodriguez. I don't think Mackenzie Dern's ready yet. Maybe a couple more fights for her, but either that or let's try and what's strawweight's 150, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then Valentina's 125. Yeah. Can we set up a super fight? But again, I think they're friends, so I don't know if they'll take that fight. Yeah. But that would be another exciting fight. They're arguably two of the best to ever do it. To find out who the real baddest lady on the planet is, So we can do that. I think we can see women's combat, just getting bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Last weekend we had Katie Taylor fight Amanda Serrano, and one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In boxing, and it was an outstanding fight. So I think right now the women's MMA and boxing is in a very good place.
Yeah, right? I agree. Absolutely, it's good to see. You mentioned something about Singapore coming up and how many female fights there is there.
Yeah.
Also, it's good to see here, like another big fight, co-main.
Yeah.
On a pay-per-view with quality talent.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, and I think I heard someone on one of the interviews say, "Oh, we've never had." They were talking about the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight. They're saying it's the first time like there's a big headliner, a female headliner in MMA or boxing. But I think I disagree with that because there was one, if I recall, it was a pay-per-view where Amanda Nunes headlined with Spencer.
Yeah.
Right. Which is where Cody Garbrandt had that crazy knockout.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was headlined by Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, Amanda, who I sort of slipped my mind, has to obviously.
Yeah, the Ultimate Fighter started.
She has to. Yeah.
Yeah, she started the Ultimate Fighter, so we're looking at. They'll probably set up that fight somewhere down the track. It's going to be a rematch. It'll be exciting to see when it comes down to it, but I just feel like Amanda's zoned out. She's dialed out,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she just lost there. I feel like she's capable of winning it back. I just feel like she was a bit bored.
Yeah.
Maybe not to discredit, the champ.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty even.
Yeah. That'll be exciting to see when it comes around. I think they're aiming for August, September.
Yeah.
So September would be good because that'll be that John Jones return as well that they're targeting for September. So which is exciting. It was expected to be July, but Steve Hayes not going to be ready to.
Oh yeah.
But they've set up their division well now. They've set up all the fights, so which is good. Now, we come down to a fight. There are a few fighters in the UFC roster, right? You can put them anywhere, any day. People will tune in to watch. We got the Conor McGregors, we got Nate Diaz, and then we got this person called Tony Ferguson. Right?
Yeah,
very fan friendly. Again, love to see him fight, win or lose. And then you put it in the mix of him and Chandler, who's again a forward pressure fighter, fan friendly fighter again. You've got another certified banger. Right?
Yeah.
Personally, this is the fight I'm looking forward to the most in the card.
Yep.
But I'm also I don't want either guy to lose, but I just don't want Tony Ferguson to lose because it puts him in a very tough spot afterwards because he's lost 3 in a row already. But losing one more and he's almost touching 40 puts him in a very dangerous spot. I just don't like I wouldn't want to see him go out on a losing streak.
And just on that though, let me ask you: Do you think they know that? Do you think his camp, him?
I think they do.
Do you think that they have to realise, don't they?
I think they do. But I also think they know, and the UFC knows the value of Tony Ferguson as well, the name that it carries. They'll see in the numbers that it generates. But there is a name value for Tony Ferguson when you fight it, right?
Yeah. It doesn't mean he's going to be cut or anything, but what it means is they might just spoon feed him a lesser opponent if he was to lose.
If he were to lose, I mean, you've got to start looking down, right? You've lost to the current champ, you've lost to the number one contender in Benil Dariush, and then now you're looking at losing. You lost to Gaichi, who's again another top contender, and then if you lose again to Chandler, who's probably in the top 5 too. You've got to stop and think, okay, well, is it time now to, sort of start looking at fan-friendly bouts? Because it's obvious, look, anyone can prove anything wrong, but I feel like Tony Ferguson is a bit far away from a title shot now, right? And it needs a lot to bring him back. Hey, my recommendation, right, if Tony Ferguson were to lose this fight, bring 2 guys who are on a tough skid at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Bring Tony Ferguson and Dan Hooker together.
Yeah.
Better still, put it in Melbourne, Marvel Arena. Yeah,
I was going to say Nate Diaz,
Man, I think
Nate and Tony.
That would be a good fight too.
It's sort of 2 big names, but a sort of a wind down.
Yeah, that's just hit it out of the park too, That's just next level.
Yeah.
I love that fight actually, now that you say that. But I saw somewhere that they're trying to book Nate Diaz with Hamza Chimaev, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
He's beat the number 2 guy. Like, let's either fight Colby, or let's wait for Usman to fight Leon Edwards, and let's set that fight up.
Unless it's about the threat. He posted. We'll get back to the Tony predictions, but just quickly, they put Nate Diaz uploaded something saying, "Let me out, UFC. I want to fight immediately."
Yeah.
So maybe they felt the pressure just to match him up.
I'm just surprised they had so many exciting bouts that they could have booked, and they went with Hamza because, like you said, Tony Ferguson would have been a good one. Dustin Poirier's been calling.
Masvidal, even who's lost a few.
Do a rematch,
Yeah.
There could be so many better fights they could have done. I mean, it's sort of almost like the outcome's preset, right? Like, we know what's going to happen in that fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be very hard for Diaz. We love Diaz, but it's going to be very hard for him to beat someone like Hamza.
Exactly right. He's going to take a heap of punishment. He's going to be, probably a stoppage. We could see it happening. A lot of cartilage.
He does, and Hamza hits hard. He just throws, right? So, and he's going to come from a lot of frustration from his last fight, right? Wanting to prove a point. So, I don't know if that was, but maybe that's because Diaz doesn't want to re-sign with the UFC, and then UFC trying to, sort of pull their strength,
make him box office. Also, it's going to sell. Yeah, like that. That's just going to sell out pay-per-view, whatever arena.
Yeah,
it is. Correct. But back to this one with so much on the line. Also, we can't ignore Chandler, who has a lot on the line too.
Yeah, true.
He's still a dude that's young enough to have title aspirations. I feel right, and he's gonna a convincing win against the legend. Did you think would really put his name back up there?
Yeah, I think if he were to beat Tony Ferguson in a very convincing manner, he'd put his name back in the conversation, and he'd probably have to take one more fight before he goes into that. I think if you look at the lay of the land, right? Gaichi beat Ferguson, fought for the title against Khabib. Oliveira beat Ferguson, fought for the title. Beneil Dariush fought Ferguson. He's going to fight the number 1 guy. So I think the name value is definitely there, and it's the right step up. But given that he's coming off a 3-fight losing streak, Chandler will have to do something a little bit more exciting to say, look, I'm putting my name now too, right? Like, I've done something to Tony that no one has. What has no one done is that finishing. Tony hasn't been finished in the past 3 fights. So if you were to finish Tony, that puts Chandler right back in it. And then a fight I would love to see, if Chandler were to win, is Chandler Poirier. I'd like to see that fight. And then if he were able to get through that, I think he's got that next title shot, I believe, and that by that time the rest of the division will settle as well. But then here's a question: what if Tony wins? What do you do next week? You know what I mean?
Took the words out of my mouth. It's like I could. Back to the prediction. I favour Chandler. Obviously he's his favourite, but I could see Tony is the type of fighter that just could cause an upset. A surprise, like you said, something out of nowhere. Swinging a flying elbow or something. And his style, he's got a lot more length and height of a Chandler as well. So that could be something. I'd like to see Tony, given what's at stake, I'd like to see something different from Tony, and that's not just take punishment.
Exactly.
I don't want to see him take punishment. Cover up. Try to last 5 rounds and just try to win it. Just try
to win it.
See, even if Tony lost this one, but let's say he lost 3 rounds to 2, and he didn't take much damage, and that's whole different, reaction to him getting absolutely annihilated, in 4 rounds.
Which is what happened between Dariush and
people might question, is he fit for this anymore? So a loss could be a loss, but it could be how he loses. I
couldn't have said it better. I think Tony needs to be a lot more mindful of the current situation. He needs to stop being reckless, really. Like, at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is to win. I think it comes out to entertain, which is great, which is why we love him. But at the end of the day, you've got to win too. And you can't just entertain and lose every fight because you get nothing out of it. I think
exactly.
I think Tony winning this year, though, I believe, will create a bit of a problem for the UFC, right? Because what do? You got to match him up above Chandler, right? And then you look at the guys up there. It's Gaichi, Makachev, Darius, right? Half the people are already beating, right? And in all honesty, like where Tony's at, I just don't see him beating any of those guys. Right? And you can't let him fight down unless it's, maybe a fight that it takes for someone else to step up. But so it'll be interesting to see where Tony goes. I honestly can't think of a matchup for him in terms of title contention. I guess you put him with, I don't know, maybe the loser of Beneil Darius versus Islam Makhachev, right? And then maybe we get to sort of, in an odd way, get to see that Khabib versus Tony fight, but instead of that Khabib, we get Islam, right? Similar style. So but Tony's definitely out of his prime. I can guarantee you that. I feel he is. Look, he could come Saturday, he could prove us wrong on Sunday. He could give an outstanding performance, right? But look, my predictions are very similar to you. I'm actually going to go with second round, because this is a 3-round fight. I'm going to go with second round KO. By Chandler.
Okay.
Yeah, KO. Chandler takes it by knockout.
Okay.
What else have we got here? We got Cerrone fighting. I would assume it would be his last fight. I'm not sure. There was talks about a retirement fight, and they'll give him a retirement fight because Dana was wanting him to, now finish up.
Yeah, finish up.
So that's there.
I could see him going to another organization.
I
couldn't really see him, hanging it up. Like he could be box office for some other organization for maybe one
big
year.
Name, massive name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, will be right there trying to get him.
Make another few mil.
I hope he doesn't go to this bare knuckle and all that.
In terms of concussions, he for health wise, I'd be concerned. He's taken that many fights.
Yeah, and that style of fighting too. It's just that stand and bang. It's not ideal. But look, I hope he doesn't go to bare knuckle or anything. I mean, he's a legend of the game. He's done so much for the sport. It'll be a shame to see him go that way. We got also OSP fighting Shogun Rua, and that's
Shogun.
Yeah, wow. It's talking of people fighting past their prime. I mean, Shogun's been at it for a while. I mean,
still on a pay-per-view main card.
Yeah, he's on the main card too.
That's unbelievable. OSP returning, obviously from an injury.
I think he's had a layoff as well. So look, it's an okay fight. I mean, I feel like there could have been other fights that could have been put in the main card instead of that. I mean, Chaos Williams is fighting. Let's put him in there, in the main card. He's exciting to watch. So I'm very excited for that fight. He's fighting Randy Brown. I think that's, if anything, you're right. I mean, the Gaichi Oliveira could be a fight of the night, but I'm also predicting Chaos Williams and Randy Brown to be fight of the night. Right. Because I think that's also good. We've got Trinaldo fighting. We also got Brandon Royval fighting as well. Again, another exciting fight to watch. We've got Andre Fialo. I remember him from when he fought Misha Pereira. And then he also recently fought. Can't remember. He was the Argentinian fighter. No, sorry, the Cuban fighter. So I might be mistaken where he was from, but it was another exciting fight where he just had a crazy knockout. Right? So again, quite exciting. I think what I've noticed is that the UFC's gone ahead and had some exciting fights into this card. Right? It's just they're just fireworks guaranteed from top to bottom. Look, I'll be actually tuning into this card quite early. I mean, it's going to be on Mother's Day as well. So, but we'll definitely make some time to watch the card. It's definitely going to be worth it. Fights to look out for: Gaichi Oliveira, I would say, Rose Carla, Ferguson Chandler, Chaos Williams, and Randy Brown. I guess I'll go with those four. What about you?
Agreed. Got to agree. And I think, obviously this is lightweight centric for the men. And this is going to set a lot of things up, like we spoke on, briefly, Conor McGregor. Speaking of people who need a fight, he's training, he's ready. He's about the point where they've got to announce his next fight. No one really knows. Is it going to be lightweight? Is it going to be welterweight?
It's looking huge.
I think a Masvidal one makes sense to me personally, because again, he needs something that's also box office. He's box office. Welterweight each.
I agree.
I just don't know. Like, what do you think? Like two guys that need to boost their name. It gives both a chance to.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think makes sense for McGregor to come back and fight Masvidal. If you look at his physique now, he's definitely a lot bigger.
Yeah.
How much is he going to deplete himself trying to get to 155?
Yeah.
You know, I know Conor's calling out Usman. I know how smart that is to come straight in and fight Kamaru Usman, right? Yeah. But yeah, if you, it's a good test, right? If you can't get through George Masvidal, then definitely, you know, not advisable to go against Kamaru Usman. I think where UFC's concerns will lie, though, is one of them have to lose.
That's true. Yeah.
How much of an impact will that be on the branding of those fighters? Because they want both of them to succeed, right? I guess that'll probably be the only thing I would cite as a reluctance for the UFC, unless, I mean, I could be wrong, you know, but I feel like if the UFC would want one of those guys to win, they'd probably want McGregor to win, given the star power, right, and what he generates. But also the other interesting thing that I've been obviously follow Conor McGregor on social media. But what I'm noticing is that he's training heavily on boxing, and not so much as MMA. Now there could be many reasons for this. Could be one because the injury was in his leg, so he can't really kick or anything, right?
Yeah.
So he's probably just
good point.
His strikes, or you know, he's talking about coming in and boxing.
Yeah,
what I mean? As long as it's not Jake Paul, right? Yeah. I don't want to box Jake Paul, but but it could be that. It could be that. Conor McGregor is one of those guys who's got a lot of say in what he wants to do. You know, he's able to dictate that, right?
Yeah.
I think you ask, look, do you think the UFC and Dana White would deny if McGregor said, "Give me the winner of Gaichi, Oliveira"? I don't think.
No, I don't think they do. And just off your point about, you know, which is very fair, you know, for those two guys, Masvidal and Conor, there has to be a loser.
Yeah.
That is the unfortunate thing. I'm also looking at the other way around too. One guy's going to win.
Yeah.
So, like, what if Masvidal fought someone else and Conor fought someone else and they both lost? The good thing about pairing them both up is one of them, one star, is going to be re-elevated, which is going to get the league, you're going to get excitement back for one of them at least.
Yeah,
so I'm like, then it's like it builds up. Let's say Conor wins, and it builds up his return for the next big thing. Let's say he faced someone that wasn't as big as Masvidal and he lost. It'd be complete disaster.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, who's in the top 10? Who McGregor can fight? That
look, another one is Hamza. Like if Hamza wins, beats Diaz, he should call out Conor. I think.
Oh man, that's a bad fight for McGregor.
Because that'd be a nice return. Because one thing Conor said, Nathan doesn't interest him anymore. He's been there, done that. You know, Nathan, Conor, they've done their dance.
I honestly thought that's why they were waiting. I honestly thought they were waiting to book Diaz McGregor 3. But not the case. If it is true that they're looking at Hamza and Diaz, which is a terrible fight to be honest. Because I'm thinking like the two divisions that McGregor fights in lightweight and welterweight. Like I said, they're deep divisions. You can't go find a favorable matchup, right?
What about Colby? Colby Conor, considering Colby's not champion.
You know what I'm watching for? I watched that press conference though. That'll be insane, nuts. Two guys were great on the mic. Talking of which, did you see the photo of Colby with his chipped tooth?
No, I didn't see
There's some photos going around. Like it seems legit. So he's after the altercation with Masvidal.
Oh yeah,
he's got his tooth chipped.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is funny, but I think he's got a restraining order, which is weird. Like I mean, if they were to rematch, how are you going to rematch with the restraining order? I don't know, but
outside of the workplace or something.
Yeah.
But like we said, we'll quickly touch on some boxing. While you're on it. Yeah. Tyson Fury, emphatic win again. Knocked out Dillian White.
Yeah.
Have we seen the last of him?
Ooh.
What do you think?
No, I think he'll still fight, but not in that competitive sense. I think it'll be more exhibition.
Exhibition.
I think he'll do it. So, I mean, like
first thing Tyson or?
Oh no, like he first called out Ngannou.
Oh, okay.
And, Francis Warren, and they were both in the ring. The last time Fury was in the ring with someone, there were 3 fights with those people. It was Wilder. He had Wilder in the ring, and then we saw a trilogy, a legendary trilogy, right? I think Fury seemed definitive that he's done. He's given his word to his wife.
In terms of belts and things,
he's got
go out
everything.
on top.
But I'm just, a bit disappointed, I'll be honest, is that because he didn't unify the titles again. Like, not because of anything else. I'm not at all saying he was trying to duck AJ or Usyk. I'm saying it's disappointing because he's definitely able to beat them. Right? If he fights them, he'll definitely unify those titles.
True.
Which is why it's a shame, because I think to be able to do that, especially we saw it, the Dillian White fight at the Wembley Stadium where it was packed, 93,000, right? And the atmosphere. And imagine that, but then AJ versus Fury, right? Yeah. It will be nuts, right? Yeah. And then if Fury unifies that, arguably becomes the best heavyweight, right? I would have loved for that to happen. I think it was just one more fight away. I think I'm surprised what they could. Maybe they'll convince him. Maybe they might try to. But I do I do think we see Fury on that big stage. Yeah. But probably maybe not in a competitive nature, but more so in an exhibition nature.
Yeah, I can see it too. I agree. Maybe a little bit of a layoff. But one thing I followed the media storm, before and after his fight recently. And he was so convincingly when he was talking about, money just absolutely doesn't mean anything to him. It's not money motivated with Fury. It's he's overcome depression. He's battled all his way to the top. He's beaten the most dangerous man, Wilder, 3 times or 2 times. He's silenced the doubters. He's taken his hits, and I feel like he's comfortable going out on top. I don't think that Joshua thing really impresses him, because I think we all felt it at the time and we were worried that was the case. But when AJ lost to Ruiz, let's face it, that put a stymie on the excitement.
That aura of invincibility, right? Yeah. Before that, it was the 3 undefeated heavyweights, right? The big guns, Fury, Wilder, and Joshua. To now, just Joshua losing, and then Wilder lost as well, and Fury being that one undefeated fighter. I mean, there was a draw in his record, but that's it. So I think what this may do, though, I mean, to quickly talk about the Fury White fight, it was actually not a great fight. There was nothing much to talk about up until that knockout. Right? I think Fury did what he had to do. I think Dillian White looked like he didn't belong in there, which was very shocking. Because I thought he looked confident. I thought he came prepared, but the performance didn't translate to that. But having said that, now with Tyson Fury retiring, and he himself is calling for Wilder to come fight for the vacant title. I'll tell you what they should do. They should, obviously they'll let, I think, when is it, in July? Usyk fights Joshua. Yeah. So whoever the winner should fight for the vacant title versus Wilder. Yeah. Right? So if Joshua were to win, we will see Joshua versus Wilder finally. Yeah. Right? And then that's for all the marbles. Yeah. Right? Because one party would have the other belts, and
that's to be a new king. Yeah, absolutely. If Fury steps aside, he rides off, wants to ride off to the sunset in terms of competitive bouts. It's only fair that the other kings can put their hat in the ring and become the new king. Usyk, I think, doesn't. He's challenging, but he's too undersized. I think against the Wilder, he'd be knocked out.
He wouldn't stand a chance against Fury. I mean, he's a great boxer, but Fury's got reach. Fury is also a great boxer, so I think same with Wilder as well. I think. Talking of boxing, it's a massive fight coming up this Sunday as well. Canelo Bivol is this Sunday, which will be another great fight. You can see if Canelo continues on his rampage and continues to, on this journey of undisputed and collecting belts. He's now like this conqueror who just goes to other lands and just takes their crown. Like I said before, we had the Katie Taylor Serrano fight, which was a fantastic fight. We actually Shakur Stevenson fight Valdez, which personally was a one-sided domination, right? And Shakur Stevenson performed really well. So look, there's a few things. I think not too long ago, Errol Spence won his fight against Ugas, and hopefully finally they'll make that much anticipated Terence Crawford with Errol Spence fight. So look, there's a lot happening in the boxing. To be honest, I think the boxing world's got a bit more exciting.
Yeah, and I thought to be honest, I thought you were about to bring up the Kambosos and the Tank Davis.
We should do Kambosos Haney.
Yeah, but there's a Tank Davis.
there's another fight
thing coming up.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Is it afterwards?
I think it's before.
So Kambosos is fighting Haney this July.
Yeah.
This June, July, I think. And at the Marble Stadium, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy fight. I think that deserves an episode of its own because our own backyard, our own fighter. So we'll definitely break that down. But look, it's great, having these Aussie champions, provides a lot more opportunities for us to see them, over here in these big stadiums.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. So I'd love to see that fight. I think that's unify all the belts because Haney has one belt and then Kambosos has all the other belts. So they're going to try and unify that. I think I'm going to give the edge to Kambosos there. Given sort of the work that he puts in.
The big crowd, everything. It's going to be insane. Think of a hostile. Think about like for everyone watching, like the Fury, Dillian White thing at Wembley, but there were two homegrown guys. Think of that environment, but only one guy is a local. The other guy is a foreigner. It'd be 55,000.
55,000 strong.
With an open roof or maybe even closed roof if it's raining. And
right.
It's going to be electric.
It is. And then more exciting news, UFC 275. You might be joining us from Singapore. Directly from ground zero.
Exactly.
Bringing us the updates and predictions.
Octagon side. That's a tap's going to be there in the building. Got you covered. And going to be excited. Obviously, a big fight between Glover, and 40 years old. Can he defend his title, or will it be back to sort of open field for Prakashka, a new champ?
That's an exciting.
It is sort of the old welcoming in the new, because you could see Prakashka being a future champion. But how long can Glover keep that kind of defense up?
Man, after Glover's fight with Anthony Smith and Jan Blachowicz, I'm never gonna count that guy out. I was thinking, oh man, what was the UFC thinking booking this guy in with them? Then he went and dominated it, right? So I'm not gonna count him out. But look, we'll definitely break that down in one of the future episodes as well. UFC 275.
And we'll be back to obviously do our recap of 274 early next week. It's a stack card, like we said, we broke down a lot of things at stake. And enjoyed chopping it up in terms of some of the guys that aren't on this card and what it might mean.
We'll definitely bring the recap once we find our voices after the weekend, watching all the fights and screaming. But
Well, DJ, as always, it's been excellent. And
thank you
on this episode of That's a Tap.
And until we catch you in another episode, that's a wrap.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.